tourism department team visiting us here today to show how they can support us, supplement our community businesses, and help us as a community. I know we've had some rough times. We came out of COVID. We started in fighting, and guess what happened? The fire. So our goal right now is to get us back in the swing of things and tell you how we can help you, and also they can show their support for us. I have to share something. We just got in a co-op partnership with New Mexico True, where they matched us one-to-one. So we have a $150,000 spend that will become active this week on fire recovery marketing, where we change the narrative to we're open. So, all the negative that you've heard, we're going to dispel it very quickly and actively. I'd like to introduce Cody Johnson. He's the Director of Communications, and he's going to let you know.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction. Is there a chance we can get the screen back? So anyway, thank you for that introduction. Yes, we're happy to be here in Ruidoso today. This is actually part of our New Mexico True Tours series, where we're traveling throughout the state to meet with communities on the ground to talk about all of our programs and services that businesses and tourism-related organizations can use to grow tourism, to grow your business in a way that works for you. So we've actually had Ruidoso on our calendar for this point in time for quite a few months now. So we're happy to be here. We understand that we had a different team come a couple weeks ago with other state agencies to meet strictly about fire response and recovery, so we're happy that we were able to provide a team for that. And I know that they made themselves available to listen to questions and concerns and discuss ideas, and bring some of those to life, or as much of that as we can. Obviously, Elizabeth just referred to one of the big things that we're proud to say we can do now, which is that cooperative marketing one-to-one match that is specific to address response to the wildfires and stuff like that. So what we're going to talk about today is kind of our typical business: communications, tourism development, marketing, New Mexico Magazine, research. We have representatives from all of those divisions with us today, so we're going to kind of go through the things that we do, let you know kind of how you can plug into the programs that you hear about, and after that we'll make ourselves available to discuss any of that further. So that being said, I'll jump the first slide before I hand it over to our commerce analyst Tristan. I wanted to kind of briefly talk about the tourism development budget, which was approved in legislative session a few months ago. And you'll see on the screen, we have $19.4 million for our budget. It's a 15.9% increase from FY22. That's our biggest increase ever. We're very happy and privileged that we're able to work with legislators that believe in tourism, believe what it means for New Mexico and for communities like Ruidoso. And you can see some of the budget priorities there for FY23 is developing an online marketplace, and an event accelerator program, which Emily will talk about, something that we put a lot of effort into over the past few months to bring to life for this upcoming fiscal year. So that's just kind of our agency budget. That being said, I'm going to hand it over to Tristan, our commerce analyst, who's going to talk about research and some hospitality and tourism related trends for the state and for this community.
Hi, as Cody just mentioned, my name is Tristan. I'm a commerce analyst. I'm just going to run through kind of what we do, some easy ways to work with us, and then some COVID recovery updates for both the state and for Lincoln County. So a little bit about what we do. We provide annual visitation data and visitor profiles. This is going to be really the total amount of visitors coming into New Mexico, as well as where they're coming from, what they like to do when they're here, how they're planning their stay. There's lots of really cool information in those. So we produce those every year. We do some return on investment studies and marketing research. So those return on investment studies really tell you how far your dollar goes, tax dollars go towards bringing in people to the state of New Mexico. And with some other marketing research, it's really more around sentiment analysis. I believe you'll hear a lot about venturesome traveler today, so that's how we discovered that term and that kind of target audience is through that sentiment analysis marketing research. We also do economic impact analyses. These are also yearly data. That's available at the state and at the the county level, and that will be just visitor spending. The next bullet point would also be how much does that direct money coming in really impact the total community, and how is that money redistributed around? Right now we have a great dashboard on our website that's covering economic recovery, and that includes a lot of really cool metrics. That'll be like visitations coming into the state, occupancy, metrics on airplane travel into Albuquerque, COVID vaccine rate. There's a lot of information on there, and I encourage you to check that out if you have the chance. We also cover business statistics. This primarily comes from gross receipt taxes. It really kind of tells us what kind of revenue we're seeing by business type and industry. We've also developed our own tourism profile, so rather than just looking at leisure and hospitality or arts, entertainment, and recreation, we have a more robust profile of tourism business and how revenue is being affected. We look at leisure and hospitality workforce a lot. Right now, it's currently when are we getting back to the labor recovery goals we're looking at. And lastly, we do some industry surveys. We have New Mexico True Certified Partner Survey that we just completed, which has some really cool information on how our partners are performing, what works for them, what doesn't work for them. And we also did one with the Department of Workforce Survey to kind of get more of a grasp on what's going on in the hospitality workforce currently. So how to work with us. So at the regional level, I think I mentioned, we have visitor volume, which will be annual. And sorry, I'm blanking. I believe Lincoln is in the southeast region. Those visitor profiles, I find this to be really cool information. So it tells us, what city they're coming from, what state they're coming from, what's the average length of stay by region and by state, what are these in-market behaviors. So that's kind of what they're doing, what recreation activities do they like. Do they like go to museums or go outside? Really cool information, really great for business owners to kind of determine what's your target audience. We also have hotel occupancy rates, revenue, and the average daily rate available for each region. And those are weekly and usually updated monthly on our economic recovery dashboard. And lastly, we have some workforce data. And at the regional level, it's primarily occupation and wage statistics. So this can kind of give you an idea of what's the average wage for your occupation, how many people are employing that by each region. Also really good information for local business owners. At the county level, we have that economic impact data. So that's not just visitor spending, that's also indirect, so business-to-business spending, as well as the total effect of that. So that will give you kind of like state and local taxes generated by visitor spending. So, and then as well as the jobs that are supported by that visitor spending. So how many jobs in each county are supported by direct visitor spending that comes from tourism? We also have the workforce reliance on tourism. So that would be I think I understood this incorrectly, that would be the percentage of jobs for the whole county that are supported by visitor spending. Local taxes, as I mentioned earlier, as well as that gross receipt taxes by month. And that's going to be more focused on individual business types. So some recovery updates for the state. Statewide occupancy rates are currently at 97% of 2019 levels. I believe that was for the entire month of April. Currently we have about 2 weeks of data for May that's showing we're above 2019 levels. So the recovery has been really great. In 2021 as well, we ended the year well above 2019 levels. Visitor spending has increased by 40% or $600 million. Unfortunately for this statistic, we only have through November 2021. It comes from the U.S. Travel Association, and they are having technical issues. I'm not sure what's going on, but that should be updated monthly. I'm just kind of waiting for them to figure it out. Deplanements through Albuquerque, which is New Mexico's largest airport, has increased by 88%, and that's for March 2022 versus last year, March 21. We also have 18,100 leisure and hospitality workers back on the job for the whole state. And I believe, yes, that's within 1% of 2019. So for the whole state, we're seeing really good recovery in that leisure and hospitality work sector. Now for Lincoln County, in 2020, this comes from that tourism economics data I was talking about. We'll be getting 2021 data here fairly soon, probably in August. But in 2020, tourism directly supported almost 14, or a little over 1,400 jobs, and visitor spending equaled over $200 million. Since April 2020, Southwest regional occupancy is up 124%, and that graph there shows you the state occupancy versus the Southwest region occupancy as a percentage of 2019. So you see those notes there that I was talking about in 2021, we're above 2019 levels, and right now they're both, again, just right there, pretty much at 2019 levels. Leisure and hospitality revenue for Lincoln County is up 253%. That's from April 2020, so that's really our floor of pandemic kind of loss of revenue there. So that's some great recovery. And the leisure and hospitality employment has increased 32% to our 456 jobs here in Lincoln County. And I also have that figure for compared to 2019. Oh, sorry, I misspoke. I don't have that figure for 2019. So yeah, that'd be it. Oh, yes, sorry. And please reach out to us. All of this is available to you. What I'm really passionate about is helping people access data, understand data. I think this is great information to know, great information to have. If you have any questions about anything that I didn't talk about, feel free to reach out. We'll figure it out, see if we can get something for you. Currently, Victoria Gregg is on leave, so please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. And up next is tourism development. Emily Leeds is our, I'm sorry, I don't remember your title.
Tourism Development Coordinator.
Tourism Development Coordinator.
Hello. So the Tourism Development Division focuses on the development of tourism products, infrastructure, and business throughout the state. So we're going to talk today about a variety of grant programs that we have, and these are some of our key initiatives that we have going. So first up is our newest program, which is the Tourism Event Growth and Sustainability Program. We just launched this a month ago, and it offers 3 levels of support, which are the Accelerator, which improves web and social presence, the Sponsorship, which provides funding for the event and co-branding with New Mexico True, and Event Co-op Advertising, which increases event visibility. The important thing to note with this is that the application is open right now, and it closes on Friday. So it's a pretty short window, but if you have any questions, just reach out to me as soon as you can.
And real quick, I'll just piggyback off of Emily. She's the one that administers this, so if you have any questions about this new program, please speak to Emily when we conclude and talk to her about it. We're very excited about this. We constantly hear from communities for years about the need to develop some sort of strategic and scalable program that supports tourism-related events. They're very important for communities like Ruidoso. So we wanted to make something that works, and this is kind of like a pilot right now, and we're going to refine it for next fiscal year, so please talk to us about this. We're very excited about this one in particular. Some more information about it.
Yeah. And then further information about that.
Yeah.
So again, there are 3 opportunities. We have the Accelerator, which provides technical assistance up to $5,000. Depending on if you complete the assistance portion of the program. We have the Sponsorship, which is a maximum of $50,000, which depends on the size of the event. And then the Cooperative Marketing Program is a 2-to-1 match, and that's a maximum of $10,000 for marketing initiatives. So the Rural Pathway Program, this is a program which is meant to develop tourism ideas and support tourism and economic development. So it's a 2-part program. It's a tourism incubator, which serves to develop tourism ideas which are in the idea stage and get them to the point where they're ready for implementation. And then we also have a tourism grant up to $50,000, which is meant to implement tourism projects that are shovel-ready, as it were. So if you have an idea for a tourism project, just reach out to me and we can start a conversation. So the Clean and Beautiful program is my colleague Lucy Stanis, and her email is there for more information. So this goes out to different entities throughout New Mexico to award funds for projects including preventing littering, reducing waste, beautifying communities, leveraging youth empowerment, and supporting local communities in increasing their capacity for this type of project. Last year we awarded about $790,000 to 52 communities around the state, so the program is strong and it is growing. So the infrastructure program is something that we haven't been quite as involved in the past. But as communities move forward with economic development, we feel it's important to identify tourism-related infrastructure projects which drive tourism activity and economic growth in communities. This year we worked with the 7 councils of governments to identify projects, and we've had success over the past 2 years in terms of funding projects. Project types can include, for instance, outdoor recreation, airports, convention and recreational facilities, that type of thing. The Hotel Marketing and Digital Optimization Program provides an audit of hotels' digital presence and bookability, so if they have a website, are they available in booking engines? And through the audit, we determine areas of potential support to help get independent hotels online. Some hotels don't necessarily need this program, and that's fine, but if you're interested in something like this, NMTD pays for technical assistance and one-to-one coaching for you. So if you have any more information, or if you would like any more information, you can contact my colleague, Holly Kelly. I don't know if you have anything to add on that.
I'll speak to this a little bit more. This is something that I think we tackled late last year. And basically what we wanted to do is we wanted to audit all the independent hotels, the ecosystem in New Mexico, and see kind of how many boxes do they check when it comes to digital optimization. And that comes to social media, that comes to website, that comes to online booking platforms, their integration there. And basically, if you look at that graph, what that graph is showing you is each bar is a scale, and however many hotels fit kind of in that scale, you'll see that there's a lot of red bars, which basically means there's a fair amount of hotels, independent hotels in New Mexico, that could use some help with optimizing their digital presence, which will help destinations through their own search engine optimization and marketing. It will help hotels themselves. It will just boost New Mexico's profile when it comes to searching for leisure travel. And so we made this, we have a partner program, I think they're called Level 60. We actually have a handout about this up here up front if you wanted to learn more about this. It's just a very helpful resource for hotels that want to boost their profile online, to just make more business, basically. And so we wanted to make this program available. And so please talk to us. This crosses over with tourism development and marketing. We have a lot of staff members kind of with their feet in the water in this one, so to speak. So please speak to us about this one too.
Thank you. And so the final program that we have is the Group Event Venue Program. And it supports event venues and spaces throughout New Mexico through a partnership with Cvent, which is one of the largest online group travel platforms. And that allows us to provide participants with RFPs for potential events that fit their event space characteristics. So with onboarding and providing basic information about the venue, we then act as a matchmaker between events and venues, and we reach out to those venues with booking opportunities. And we're available for questions. The emails of my colleagues are available on each slide in the PowerPoint, and otherwise we're all here to help you develop tourism in Ruidoso. Thank you.
All right, afternoon everybody. My name is Bryce Turner. I'm the creative director and graphic designer for tourism. So I'll be speaking a little bit about our marketing initiatives that we're working on. To lead it right off the top, cooperative marketing and our advertising program. I know Ruidoso has been a long-time partner, and so we're really thankful to have you guys on board. It is, of course, one of our most popular and most well-received programs that marketing puts on. This last year, we have awarded 41 partners with over $5.8 million, and we are really excited because it is a 2-to-1 match. And so, we're working really hard to meet you guys where you're at and see what your priorities are and create a great marketing plan for you guys and kind of figure out how best to utilize those dollars to make really smart, strategic marketing decisions. We also have a new program administrator being hired for this position this summer, so we're really excited to have them on board. Actually, Erin Ladd was supposed to be here today, but she is in the process of hiring and reviewing applications for that position right now. So we're really excited to see who we can get on board to help you guys really facilitate this process all the way through. We know it's a big boom for a lot of these small communities, so we're really excited to keep working on that. Over the last 3 years, it's grown in budget from $600,000 to over $5 million. And so it's always on the up and up. We've had great support from the state legislature. And so anytime they hear that we have a partner across the state that's doing great marketing work at the legislative level, that always helps us boost those dollars that are available to you guys. So next down the line, we have our True Certified program. Do we have any True Certified partners in-house? Not a one? Okay. The True Certified program is really to help makers, artisans, any kind of local community where you are creating something, a made in New Mexico product. It's a great way to help us support our small businesses. This program is free, it's always on, so you can jump in no matter where you're at. And it really helps you guys leverage the identity of the New Mexico True brand. So, you really get that brand level identifier on your products and helps kind of elevate your status, I guess, as a product. Currently, we have about 500 businesses around the state currently participating. So if you guys know of anybody, know of any makers, artisans, even if you're a brewery, you're a winery, whatever it is, like, we want to hear from you guys and we want to help you promote those small businesses and those products. We're also working with a variety of partners throughout the department. We work with Steve and his team in New Mexico Magazine to highlight those partners every single month in the magazine, really giving you guys that regional and even national reach with our Made in New Mexico products. We're also working on an online marketplace right now, which is really exciting. So somebody comes to the state, they see a New Mexico made or New Mexico True Certified product, they're able to go online to our site, purchase it, and then whenever they get home from wherever they are, they have it waiting there at their doorstep, or they've sent it to grandma or grandpa or whatever it is. So that's something that we're really excited about. It's a slow process, of course, figuring out the commerce side of things, but we're getting there, and I think it'll be a huge added bonus to our True Certified partners. Next up, we have our listings on newmexico.org. So this is a great place for anybody, no matter what your business is, no matter what you're doing in your community, to get onto newmexico.org. We've got listings that are available to just about anybody. Make sure that you are, if you do have one, make sure that you're going on there, keeping it active. That's a great way for us to kind of elevate you guys. We do work on our listings pages all the time, and if you are more active on there, more likely you are to get elevated in our own search profiles and highlighted on newmexico.org. So far to date, we have about 40,000 referrals to partner websites from our listings pages. So that's just so far in 2022. So we know that it's working. We know that people visit newmexico.org, and we know that we are getting referrals directly to individual websites or Facebook pages or whatever it is from newmexico.org. Like I said, just keep it up to date, whether you're doing events, tours, whether you're changing your hours, you have discounts or promotions. That is a great way to kind of elevate that again. So be sure to stay active on newmexico.org. And lastly, tag us in social media. We're always monitoring it. It's a great way for us to kind of keep a pulse on what you all are doing in your communities and potentially elevate those on our own feeds as well. So definitely keep an eye on that. You see our handles there, at New Mexico on Twitter, Facebook, and at New Mexico True on Instagram. So moving along, we have just started our spring and summer commercial advertising campaigns. Up there you can see a a couple of out-of-home examples in LAX. We have a beautiful placement right above one of the security checkpoints. So they're just hanging out, suffering through a security checkpoint. They look up, they see an amazing view of White Sands, and we know that we've got a captive audience who is receptive. LAX, we recently did a return on investment study there. We know that I forget exactly what it was, Cody. It was a really good ROI. I want to say it was like something like 5 to 1 or something like that. So we're really excited to have that as one of our new fly markets that we're really going hard into. We recently did some advertising in the LAX market too, around the Super Bowl. So all of the highways in and around Los Angeles and the stadium have beautiful views of New Mexico. So we got, I don't remember exactly the number of eyeballs we got on that, but a pretty impressive amount of impressions. Some other stuff from our media buyers, we thought this was really interesting when talking about out-of-home advertising. 43% of the venturesome traveler recalled airport out-of-home, which is more than any other media channel that they're exposed to. So if you guys are doing advertising, like definitely check out out-of-home. That's basically just any kind of billboard or any kind of environmental signage. So to that end, down below we have our DIA train wraps. So if any of you have ever flown through Denver, you know that you end up spending a lot of time in the trains going between terminals. So we took over a whole train platform just wrapped in New Mexico true advertising, and that was in and around the Southwest Frontier gates. So we know that those people are traveling locally. We've got a lot of great service to Albuquerque and other regional airports out of Denver. So we know that these were going to be great pieces, and actually one of our agency guys was just flying through Denver last weekend, and he was blown away by how awesome it looked. So we're really excited about these. Other airports that we currently have out of home in include Phoenix, which of course is a strong connector to anywhere in New Mexico. We also have our trusty Dallas market, and then actually new this year, we are doing year-round advertising in Austin. So we have always on big, huge, beautiful billboards in all of the Austin terminals. So we're really excited about that. Just alone in out of home, we are estimated to gain 290 million impressions from this year's campaign. That will probably be ending sometime, I'm going to say, end of July, with hopefully kind of a re-up or top-off coming up in August. So that'll carry us through the summer and hopefully into some travel for the fall. So to the next slide. So these are our big 30-second commercial pieces. We're really excited about these. We really wanted to focus on the southern part of the state during this year's campaign. So without further ado, I'll let you hit play.
Straight down into the core of the earth.
Can you guys hear that? There it is.
Stalagmites and stalactites. Million-year-old all-stars in a natural stadium. Carved by water. Populated by bats. And marbled by art. Carlsbad Caverns National Park.
Just cute girl narrating her adventure, basically.
There you go. Yeah.
Y'all couldn't quite get anything out of that.
Yeah. So exactly what Cody said. We wanted to highlight Carlsbad and just the spectacular awe that you have whenever you go down to that place, and we figured what better way to kind of show that than through the eyes of a child, you know, talking about her adventure through Carlsbad Caverns. It's also a great family-friendly activity to do. So we thought that that was a really impressive piece that's streaming on all of our big media channels, whether it's Hulu, it's NBCU. We've got that 30-second piece running across the board. We did have a second piece. We've had to do a little bit of adjusting. It was highlighting Gila and Gila Wilderness, because they're coming up on their 100-year anniversary. The current wildfire situation over in Gila, we hit pause on that, and we are transitioning over to one of our previous pieces that we ran last year, highlighting the dark skies across the state. I don't know if any of you guys ever came across that advertising, but it's beautiful. It highlights a lot of the southern parts of the state, like City of Rocks outside of Silver City, and then White Sands down in the valley. So that will be going probably, seeing how things go with the wildfire status over in Gila. We're hoping to kind of switch back to our Gila advertising sometime in July, maybe early August, when things settle down. So with that, there are all of our contact informations. Our fearless leader, Erin Ladd. If you have any questions on the co-op program, she's the one administering it this cycle. She'll be happy to jump in and help explain, why dollars were allocated where. We also have True Certified, Brandy Velarde. She is a rock star. She manages all 500 partners herself, and she does an amazing job at it. Listings, newmexico.org, that's Max Lehman's territory. He's our webmaster. He'll help you get set up with an account or updates or whatever you need to do there. If you have any questions on brand creative, you're looking at him, Bryce Turner, there's my email. I'm happy to help facilitate any of that. So with that, I will pass it on to Cody.
And real quick about the creative that we just looked at. We went through a brand refresh in April of last year. And one of the things that we heard at the tourism department is, partners would like to see a little bit more regional diversity in our creative. And so we really committed ourselves to that with this, what we're calling 3.0. You might hear 3.0. That just means it's like our third iteration of New Mexico True. And that was a big a mission from the Cabinet Secretary, Jen Schreier, to really enhance the regional diversity in our creative. So obviously we saw Carlsbad. Bryce mentioned Gila. Dark Skies features a lot of southern New Mexico in that kind of that mashup piece. We have kind of an offshoot, our Keep New Mexico True. Sometimes we do creative in market. We actually just did an exclusively Las Cruces featurette of Keep New Mexico True. So very committed to kind of that regional diversification of our creative.
Absolutely, and to that end, we, as we're planning ahead for winter creative, we don't often get a chance to highlight the southern part of the state, but just as a little teaser to you guys, coming up this winter, I know we have done some production this year, actually up at Ski Apache. So we're really excited to highlight the winter activities even in the southern part of the state. So stay tuned for that. We're really, really excited about that winter piece coming up. So.
All right, everyone. Hello. Again, my name is Cody Johnson. I'm the Director of Communications for the Tourism Department. And so what I wanted to talk about with y'all today is kind of what we do, particularly with our earned media. In about June 2020, unfortunately, when the pandemic was really peaking, we overhauled our national earned media program. So, so we started re-engaging with regional and national media that focuses on leisure travel in a much more strategic manner. And we're very pleased with kind of what we've seen so far, and I'll get to that here in a few slides. But, just kind of really wanted to highlight why we do what we do at the Tourism Department with our National Earned Media Program. Cabinet Secretary Jen Schreier is very committed to boosting the profile of New Mexico as the premier destination for the venturesome traveler through earned media. And I think over the past couple of years, we've really helped get New Mexico included in some great kind of top tier media. So there's just kind of a list of why we do this. Here are a couple samples that are specific to Ruidoso. I think the one on the left right there with the gondola, I'm pretty sure that's Thrillist. You'll see there's also, I think that's a road trip based feature in the manual. And then Reader's Digest, we also have a nice feature of El Paso to Ruidoso included in Reader's Digest. Just a couple of samples of how we work with travel writers to get inclusion of all New Mexico destinations in travel media. We also work with influencers. This isn't typically something the tourism department has really done a whole lot with, But again, as we overhauled our strategy, this is something we've kind of targeted a little bit more strategically. What you see are a couple of screenshots of a travel influencer. That was just one that I think we recently got to Ruidoso. You can see, I think those are probably some Instagram stories that were captured. We work with those folks to bring them into communities like Ruidoso, work with hotel partners. Our contractors are very pleased with how cooperative and how collaborative they are with local destinations. And if you want to know more about how do you work with us, if you're a hotel, if you're a restaurant, if you're some sort of experience provider, and you want to work with us to get on itineraries for travel writers, please talk to me about that, and we'll make sure that my extended team knows about what you can provide for our work. So one of the things I specifically wanted to talk about with this group is something that we just did last week. For those who are familiar with media missions, what that basically means is that a person or a team goes to a regional or national media market to meet with writers in their home, like home community. So what we did just last week, Nicole Barker, who is our media relations manager, my colleague, she traveled to Texas to meet with roughly about 20 to 30 travel writers and influencers, each in the Dallas and Austin markets. And you see some pictures there. I think the pictures you're seeing are probably from the Austin venue. Our contracted partners they specialize in this type of work. So we were very happy with what we were able to put together. You'll actually see in that middle picture, we really wanted to bring the tastes of New Mexico to these people in Texas, and you'll see that we actually got some New Mexico beer and wine for these events. And you'll see Noisy Water. We got at least one selection of Noisy Water as part of the event right there in Dallas and Austin. So very pleased we were able to bring the tastes, sights, and sounds of New Mexico to these people. Obviously, it's to share our stories. We had Chef Martine from Restaurant Martine traveled with us, put together some very nice custom cuisine. We just try to bring it all to these people to encourage them to come to these destinations and visit and see it closer in person and write and create content. So that's something that we did. We're looking to engage with a stronger media mission strategy next fiscal year. We're looking at the Los Angeles market, possibly New York. So those are some things that we're really excited about doing. Real quick, I wanted to talk about kind of our previous fiscal year's performance, so I can put it into perspective how we're growing with this particular program and service. So last fiscal year, through work directly tied to our department's National Earned Media program, we were able to generate 1.3 billion impressions for $1.7 million worth of estimated media value, which basically comes out to an ROI of $5.6 generated in media value for every $1 spent through that program. Now, for context, this fiscal year, through 3 quarters, we've already generated $4.5 million in estimated media value. So you can compare that number to what we did in FY21. You can see that we're really boosting our profile and re-engaging with writers and influencers and really growing our identity through earned media. So very pleased about that, and obviously we're receptive to ideas and how to work with businesses and hotels and experience providers to get inclusion when those pieces of content are created. Now, I think this is my final slide, and it's just what can you do to work with this particular service? You can subscribe to Tourism Talk. That's our newsletter. Whenever there are opportunities, say that there's a need for, there's somebody's writing about the best, wine in each state. You want us to know about that, you can subscribe to our newsletter. We share those opportunities, and you can respond to us, and we'll try to work with you through those leads. You can share newsworthy developments with our communications team. Obviously, when we're concluded here, please talk to me. I'm happy to take notes and bring stuff back to my team so we can talk about that. Help us host media on when they're traveling. Like that's kind of the bread and butter of what this service is about. So there's that. reshare media coverage on social media. So when you see Ruidoso or your business or just New Mexico in general in a nice write-up in New York Times or Time Magazine or CNN, Travel, whatever it may be, share it, because the more that content is shared, the more likely those people are going to want to continue writing about New Mexico. And then finally, update your business profile on newmexico.org. Bryce mentioned our listing services. That's how sometimes we get information from true certified partners and from just businesses in local communities. And those sometimes end up in itineraries. So if you don't have a listing, talk to Bryce. Our webmaster's contact information is located up there. If you haven't really worked with the tourism department before, the True Certified program and our web listings is a very easy touch point and a very easy way to engage with us. So I highly encourage that if you're a business owner and you don't currently have that with us. There's our contact information. Feel free to reach out to either one of us. Nicole, she joined us in November. She's very collaborative. She's doing a great job with everything. She couldn't be here today because she's been on the road a lot recently. So if any of you were at the governor's conference in Albuquerque last week, maybe you got the chance to meet her, but feel free to reach out to her too. That being said, all right, I'm going to hand it over to Steve with New Mexico Magazine.
Hi, everybody. Steve Glidora. I'm the relatively new editor at New Mexico Magazine. I've been in New Mexico for about 2 years now. I started this job in March of 2020, which is the perfect time to take over a travel magazine in a state you've never visited to, and no one's allowed to travel. So it was perfect. A couple of the things that I wanted to bring with us. You can go ahead, Cody. New Mexico Magazine is celebrating its 100th anniversary in 2023, which we're kicking off in our July issue this year, which is really exciting for us. Go ahead, Cody. A couple of things that I wanted to bring with me when I started New Mexico Magazine. Two big things, really. The first thing is a slight shift in the way that we cover the state. Clearly, New Mexico Magazine is a tourism magazine, but I really wanted it to be not just for out-of-staters. I really wanted this to be a magazine for New Mexicans as well, to get them out and about in the state. So a little bit of a shift in the editorial focus. Service is really the number one thing. If you look at the issues that are over there on the table, burgers, road trips. We want to get people to do things, and that adds value to our readers and to our advertisers. And that doesn't mean that you have to come from New York to New Mexico. That can be getting somebody from Santa Fe to Ruidoso. And that's just as valuable to all of us, I think. I think the other thing that does is it allows us to cover the state in a lot more breadth in each issue. So one of the things that I've really tried to do is make sure that just about every region gets coverage in every single issue. It's really important to me. I think the other thing that part of this is about is seeing the state in new ways. I'm new to New Mexico, so everything is new to me, which is both good and bad in some ways too. I think that one of the things we're really trying to do is cover things that are new and interesting, but also take fresh looks at things that you think you know, and I think that that's a really important thing for readers as well. The third thing is kind of just be in the mix. What are people talking about? So we had a How We're Eating Now during the pandemic. It was a restaurant focus, but also cooking at home and how those things were. Kate Nelson, who many of you may know, fantastic writer, knows the state like the back of her hand as well as anybody that I know. Wrote a really great piece in a recent issue about the revival of the Albuquerque rail yards and what they're trying to do there, because that's an ongoing discussion. And so trying to be a part of what people are talking about. And then I think the real goal for any magazine, which is super important to me, is the thing that keeps you coming back to the magazine, something that we kind of call moments of enchantment. It's that little surprise that you didn't expect from New Mexico Magazine. It's the little twist of phrase, it's the photograph that you're just like, oh, I didn't expect that. And that's really been important to us. I think the other thing that I really have tried to do at the magazine, and it's reflected up here, is that we are absolutely not just that print publication that sits over on that table. That's just one part of who we are. We've grown our Facebook following. Kate Nelson has unique content on Facebook. Every Wednesday, every Thursday, there's stuff that's not in the magazine. Our Twitter following's at 53,000 right now, which is pretty incredible. That reach is almost as big as our circulation. Santa Fe Literary Festival was just this past weekend. I was there all weekend long. I took photos, I sent out quotes. Those kind of things are really valuable, and our audience loves it. We get tons of response that way. Similarly, in Instagram, we've used Instagram stories, those kind of things to really highlight what's happening around the state. Along with that, we've started to create new content for our website that's exclusive to the website. One of the things that's a really great way to kind of engage with us is 5 things to do this weekend. We put out a weekly story that's really built for New Mexicans. It's like, what am I going to do this weekend? Where can I go to a festival, to a hike? What can I do and get out and art galleries, those kind of things. We've really tried to use that as well to get around the state and make sure that we're highlighting all regions of the state in that. And it is really important that when you see those kind of things, share it. It's a great message for us, like, oh, hey, they care, and it's good for you. I think that tagging us and making us aware of the things that are happening on social media, I look at social media all the time, I look at our analytics all the time, and so tagging us, making sure that you're referencing New Mexico Magazine in some of these, really just kind of piques my interest as, oh, what's going on there? Oh, that festival, that looks interesting for this week, those kind of things. So, we're much larger than just a print publication that we've got over there. So what are our key initiatives for 2022-23? We've got the True Adventure Guide that we work with the New Mexico True team on. That comes out in October, November. We distribute about 300,000 of those, as well as have an interactive content on that online. There's copies of that over on the table. That's our summer issue. We put that out in newsstands as well. We've got special advertising opportunities. Like I said, we're kicking off this year-long anniversary celebration. It's going to be in July. We're going to have a milestones anniversary section in November, which is really just kind of like editorial. Like, you get to write your own story about your business that's 50 years old, 75 years old, those kind of things, and be a part of it. If you look at I think it's in the June, it might be the road trips issue. There's a Faces section, which is kind of similar to what we're going to do. That's paid advertising that looks a little bit like Editorial. Got a holiday gift guide, which is very popular in November and December. And then I'll talk a little bit more about this later. We have an annual awards that are our True Heroes Awards. It's really people making outstanding contributions to their communities. We take nominations with those. It goes through July 1st. There's an online award ceremony in late November, and then those folks there's 10 of them, they're featured in the December issue of the magazine. And then in January, February, our annual photo contest. So artists, photographers, it's a really great way to get your work recognized. And like I said, we're planning our 100th anniversary, so it's going to kick off. It kicks off in this issue that is going to press today, as a matter of fact, which is very exciting. We're going to have throwback content from past issues. We're going to put together a special cover gallery, which will have 100 years, 12 issues per year. It's not quite 1,200 covers, but it's pretty doggone close. Interestingly, back in the Depression, they used to just reuse the same cover over and over and over again with new cover lines because it was too expensive to hire artists to redo it. So luckily, it's not a full 1,200, but it's going to be pretty close. We're going to have historic content online as well, and we're working with the New Mexico History Museum to have an exhibit of New Mexico Magazine's history in January 2023, which is really exciting. We're also reviving our annual cookbook. We haven't done one in probably about 15 or 20 years, so that's really fun. We just kicked off that project, as well as some posters and special events throughout the state. This is a look at our upcoming editorial calendar. The June issue is right over there. We have a nice little trip that includes Ruidoso in that issue. Our July issue, which is going to print right now, is State Parks Adventures. Unfortunately, the fires have closed some of those, but it's still going to be a really great guide for people to keep. September, we're doing wine getaways. that New Mexico DIY is really get your hands dirty, like places that you can go learn to weave, places that you can learn to hike better, fish better, those kind of things. So that should be really exciting. November feature on historic churches. We'll come back to holidays because my very first year here we didn't put holidays on the cover and people went crazy. What? No biscochitos on the cover? So holidays and True Heroes in December and photo contest there in January, February. There's my contact information if you have editorial ideas, stories that you think we should be writing about. Ed Graves is our CEO and publisher. Advertising opportunities, Ed is your guy. And we've worked really well with the tourism department's co-op program as well. It's greatly expanded for us. We've added some advertorial components. We've added online components, advertorial online. We've added to help boost content that you already have on our social channels. And I'm excited to say, this year, you will be our very first 8-page insert in 2023, which is super exciting. We're excited to get the editorial team down here to work on it. I think it's going to be a fantastic product that you're going to be able to hand out to festivals and at visitor centers, and just a really great marketing opportunity that we're going to promote through the magazine and through all those marketing channels. So that's really exciting too. I think Co-op is such a great program, and like Bryce was saying, really one of the things when we slid away from the New Mexico True website to have our own website, our hits haven't been as good because the value of all those backlinks for your SEO and all that stuff is unbelievable. So if you just do one thing out of all of this, get your business listed up on the New Mexico True website. Absolutely. It just is going to help on all kinds of levels. And I look at it all the time looking for story ideas too. Oh, you know what? I need a restaurant, down south. What can I get? And I look through it all the time too. So I think if you do one thing, that's the big one to do here. So, True Heroes, this is what I was talking about. Nominations are through July 1st. So you got a little over a month here. We honored 10 people. We have a Facebook Live event in November, and then it comes out in the December issue. We had roughly 100 nominees last year. We'd love to get more representation from the Southeast. We had the Mescalero Senior Center last year, which was fantastic, but we'd love to get more representation throughout the state. So that's us.
Cool. And then, so that's pretty much it for our presentation today. I don't know if you have any closing thoughts, Elizabeth, but we could take questions too for a bit. Obviously, we put aside a little bit of time to meet with anybody individually, or if you wanted to approach us and talk about things, but that's it from us.
Well, thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for this group? I mean, you can do them one-on-one, but it's always fun when we get a discussion going.
Tristan, on your data research that you get, where are you getting all your data? Are you getting through an analytical company like Buxton or SEOs or all the above?
It's a mixture, yes. Yeah, the two big ones is our visitation data comes from Longwoods, our economic impact data comes from tourism economics, and then the rest of it I think is a mix of public data sets that we just kind of clean and analyze on a regular basis.
Okay, so are y'all seeing with gas prices and all that stuff, are you changing any of your messaging? So, you were talking about regional, to drive in, just day tripping, that type of thing, or New Mexico, or surrounding Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, because you were talking about the reach that you had before.
Right, yeah, I don't believe we're changing any messaging at the moment. There is a great source on that. Destination Analyst has a free blog. They post I think they're doing it monthly now, and they'll post a American travel and sentiment. So right now, the past months, there has been a big focus on inflation. Curious about that, I can definitely send that to you. It's pretty interesting information there.
Yeah, we planned our June issue all around road trips, and then gas prices went crazy. So we weren't pretty far out. But I I do think, I think for us, I mean, if anybody's tried to fly anywhere, that's even worse. So I think that, I think drive-in tourism really is important, especially, our little trips in the magazine this month are, 2-3 days, something you can do over the weekend. And I think that that's going to be important for all of us too.
Well, and in cooperative programs, like in the cooperative marketing, we do have a large focus on drive markets, not just the big fly markets that we do whenever we're doing our large national commercial campaigns. So the cooperative way is a great way to get real detailed about where your guests are coming from, whether that's El Paso or Tucson or Midland, we can get really focused on that kind of stuff through cooperative marketing. So.
Okay.
Kendra? No questions from the Midtown representative?
I thought that it was just excellent knowledge to find out about the registration, because I thought that that was like my instinct. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be talking to these guys about that so that I can relay that information to our business hub. And yeah, it was definitely intriguing information. Thank you guys. I was taking pictures of your slides.
Can you guys talk a little bit more about the event, like the event piece within the co-op marketing? I think I saw there's a deadline coming up maybe this week, and is that for next fiscal? So like if someone is planning an event for next fiscal and if they wanted to participate, can you talk maybe just a little bit more about what's involved in that and what's included? Because I think we did have the racetrack participated as part of the All-American Cowboy Fest, maybe in the first iteration of the program, like
Series program.
yeah, part of the recovery readiness, but maybe talk about, just because we are an event-heavy area, and so as people are thinking about going into next fiscal, if you could just maybe speak a little bit more about that.
Yeah, of course. So as Cody mentioned, this is a pilot program. So it does have this area program, which was kind of a predecessor for COVID recovery for events and just bring them out of COVID and get them started again. The event program, the co-op portion specifically, is it's meant to channel events who might have participated in the regular co-op program in the past, kind of into a program that fits them a little bit better. So the application is, it closes on Friday. So if anybody is interested in maybe learning a little bit more about the program, and again that's advertising, sponsorship as well, and an accelerator for social and web presence, definitely talk to me. I'm providing support all week for people all around the state for that. And this is kind of our first go around at this in terms of the application as well. So we've been providing support. So it's a short time frame, but it's definitely doable. And we can work with you in terms of, gathering data, things like that. We can work on that. Yeah, did that answer?
Yeah, just expanding a little bit more on that and calling out that due date. I thought was important. Yeah, thank you.
Is that application for events online? You have access online? Or?
It's online, yes. So we do have a dedicated page on the on nmtourism.org, and I can certainly give you that specific address as well. There is a preview of the application that's available there, just so you can start to prepare the application without having to go through the online version. But that is submitted online only. And we do offer support as well, not only for the program, if you have any questions about specifics there, but also for the application platform itself. If you have technical difficulties or you're not quite sure where to find the application, things like that, we can help to walk you through that as well.
I was going to bring it up on the screen real quick, just so we can explain it so you can see what we're talking about. So, New Mexico Tourism Department website is newmexico.org/industry. I'm pretty sure nmtourism.org also takes you here. Right here on our homepage, you'll find it just right here. Tourism Event Growth and Sustainability Program. You can click on that and it will tell you everything you want to know about eligibility requirements, timelines. There's the link to the actual application, FAQs, it's all right there if you wanted to learn more.
And actually, if you could scroll down to the bottom there. So there's an overview of just the 3 parts of the program on this page on the website, but then an overview is also available in the overview section, which you see there. Program resources includes the application content, definitions for that application. I I don't remember what else we put on there, but basically anything you would need to know about the program, about applying, about deadlines, things like that. And then also about funding, the guidelines, the program guidelines are also available there. So that gets a little bit more into detail about funding especially, and kind of how that works, how the 2-to-1 match works. Apply, the link is available through this section of the website, and then FAQs for anything that you might have thought of. We've been updating that regularly, so chances are your question might be there, and if it's not, reach out to me and I will put it there for everyone else.
Is that it? Well, we thank you very, very much. Great information. They're here for the next 20 to 30 minutes if you have any one-on-one discussions you would like to have. And we really appreciate you